Hey y'all, welcome to today's SELAH video. My name is TJ Dane and I'm on the student team at Westside, and I'm looking forward to spending this time doing our SELAH. For Holy Week, we are on the 5th day, which means it's Friday. We are taking a look at the death of Jesus, his crucifixion. And this is a really powerful and a really emotional story. And I want us to spend some time just reflecting on the gravity of what it is that Jesus has done for us. Because Jesus was fully God. He was God in the flesh. The Son of God stepped into our mess and died the death that we deserved. He was put to death on a cross and willingly gave up his life so that we could find life in him. And Jesus committed no sin, but paid the price for all of our sin. That is a huge thing. And I just want us to reflect on that sacrifice and also think about how we are called to live sacrificial lives, how we are called to love people in a way that lays down our own life. And I also want us to be thinking about the fact that even in our darkest moments, we can find hope. Because I wonder what it was like for the followers of Jesus at this time to witness him being put to death on a cross and then buried in a tomb. It must have been so hard for them to find hope. But we have this hope because Jesus raised from the dead. We know that the story is not over. So in the midst of whatever's going on in your life right now, no matter how dark it may seem, we have this hope. So I just hope that this is a time where you can reflect on that and where God reminds you of his goodness and of his victory. So grab some headphones, grab a notebook and something to write with, and let's get started with today's SELAH.
Stop. Today, on Friday of Holy Week, we remember the crucifixion of Christ. On this day, Jesus willingly took our sin upon himself, and he was punished on our behalf. He gave up his life so that we could be forgiven and that our relationship with God would be restored. Spend a minute in silence, being still and reflecting on the sacrifice that Jesus made for you. Exhale. Close your eyes and pay attention to your breathing. Feel your chest rise and fall with each deep breath. As Jesus hung on the cross, each breath became more difficult. As the agonizing moments passed until he finally breathed his last. He experienced death so that you could experience life. This is the ultimate demonstration of love. Breathe deeply and slowly. As you inhale through your nose, pray the words, "By your wounds." As you exhale through your mouth, pray the words, "I am healed." Do this 3 times. Look, when Jesus died, darkness came over the whole land. The Son of God gave up his life. Look around for things that represent darkness. Draw one of those things in your notebook. As you draw it, think about the gravity of Jesus' death, the light of the world being laid in a tomb. Do you feel like you are in the midst of darkness or light right now? Ask, can you imagine what the followers of Jesus thought after witnessing him dying on the cross and being buried in a tomb? There had to be so much emotion and confusion. This was the one who was going to save the world, but how could he die? It must have been so challenging for them to hold on to hope. Sometimes our human nature keeps us from seeing the bigger picture of God's plan. Ask God to remind you of hope, even in the lowest places of your life. Spend a minute listening to his response and write it down. Here, as these passages are read over you, write down anything that specifically stands out to you. 2 other men, both criminals, were also led out with him to be executed. When they came to the place called the Skull, they crucified him there, along with the criminals, one on his right and the other on his left. Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing." And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. The people stood watching, and the rulers even sneered at him. They said, "He saved others. Let him save himself if he's God the Messiah, the chosen one." It was about noon now, and darkness came over the whole land until 3 p.m, for the sun stopped shining, and the curtain of the temple was torn in 2. Jesus called out with a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." When he had said this, he breathed his last breath. The centurion, seeing what had happened, praised God and said, "Surely this was a righteous man." Going to Pilate, Joseph asked for Jesus' body. Then he took it down, wrapped it in linen cloth, and placed it in a tomb cut in the rock, one in which no one had yet been laid. It was the preparation day, and the Sabbath was about to begin. The women who had come with Jesus from Galilee followed Joseph and saw the tomb and how his body was laid in it.